Christian. I've known him for 8 or 9 years. He's probably one of the tougher people I know. Perfect for this kind of trip. He's a good climber, really good athlete.
Pat's a really bold climber, and he really puts himself out there. And he's always testing himself and pushing the bar.
This trip came about as kind of the beginning of a bunch of trips I want to do that involve multi-sport, that leave as little carbon footprint as possible. I guess the deal is from the pavement near the Schaefer Trail leading down into the White Rim. Good friend Christian and I are going to ride our bikes along the 100-mile trail and try to climb the bigger towers down there. We're trailering all of our food and water. We've got a little over 70 pounds in water per person. We're having to plan for about 8 days, so the gear is getting pretty heavy. I think the hardest part about this trip is gonna be just the endurance for 8 days of pedaling with these trailers that are, over 100 pounds. The climbing will be hard too, when you pack it on top of all the riding.
Heat's a little bit of a concern. I tend to sweat a lot. So I hope we can fit enough water on the trailers to keep me hydrated.
I've done a lot of trips, big trips, small trips, Himalayan expeditions. And I gotta admit, this one's ranking up there with a big question mark. Things will get really hard on us quick. Being down in there with all this gear, having to wire stuff back together. So it's fun. It's gonna be a classic adventure. And it's gonna be a good adventure that I think is, for the most part, pretty friendly to our environment, I'm really excited to be a part of this. It's gonna be pretty hot. It's beginning of June. I believe the forecast calls for record highs in Moab, 100 plus. So I think the hardest part for us is gonna be staying hydrated.
Heavy. Made the mistake going down into my lowest chain ring and the lowest ring on my cassette, and it was just spinning out. I think Pat did the same. Bike trailer's got a flat. We suspected this might happen. We almost took some air out of it, but didn't. And that's a bummer because we don't have any tubes for it. We have this patch kit.
But you're gonna blow that other tire out real soon too. Look at the way it's probably the fucking valve stem that blew out, dude. Yeah, I think you just pinched it. It's like bent. Look at this.
Is that the hubs just shot already? I'm just gonna have to just crawl it the entire time and just hope it holds it together for 90 more miles. Fucking piece of shit. I heard some clinking and 2 spokes are gone. And this is what's happening. Any kind of speed at all, it's just getting this lateral play and it's just destroying it even further. The rim's bent. This one's gonna go. We don't really have any way to tighten the tension on the spokes. There's no tension on any of the spokes. So I don't know much about the science of wheels, but I don't know what's holding the structural integrity of this circle together right now. I think it's just the aluminum. I think if I can just get to the first campsite, which is probably no more than 9 miles away. You know, we have 2 days of climbing there, drink a lot of water, the weight will be significantly lower. We'll see. We'll see if it'll make it.
About 3 hours in the ride, Christian got a flat on the trailer, and shortly thereafter, absolutely destroyed the trailer wheel. It just, the spokes blew out and the hub came free and the trailer dropped to the dirt. Done. Rim busted up. We stashed that trailer, put as much gear in a backpack and threw a little extra weight on the trailer I was carrying. Just grabbed the food out of that trailer and put it on my trailer. And really kind of maxed my trailer out at that point. It started bending the axle on my trailer. But regardless, we made it to our designated campsite. Everything went kind of wrong with one of the trailers. So we only have one trailer left. We had to ride a lot more than originally planned. I think we rode like 35 or 36 miles, which was cool, but kind of wore us out for today.
We had discussed last night to cut out the coffee in the routine because we're a little concerned about the water stretching out. I never thought I'd cut the coffee.
I think today's gonna be sweet. We could go rock climbing. I'm gonna do the North Ridge on Monster Tower. I think it's graded 5'11", 7 pitches, 650 feet. Hopefully it's in the shade for most of the day. The sun yesterday was brutal. We're gonna have to start rationing our water. That's different. Never really had to deal with that too much.
This trip is really important to me. The climbing, in terms of 5'11 plus crack climbing, is definitely above where I think I am, 5'11 plus trad climbing. So I think that'll be good for me to push myself, be okay with failure, and maybe surprise myself and do a lot better than I thought.
The climbing on Monster Tower was harder than the topo would lead one to believe. And some of that was due to my fatigue from the riding the day before. It was just kind of, I was a little lethargic that day from the heat, so it was hard for me to mentally sink my teeth into climbing, but inevitably we did make it to the summit. Most memorable thing, Monster Tower, without a doubt, being up there with Christian, his first tower. It's cool, I like it. It's good to be part of that, man.
Following day, we went back and climbed the In Search of Suds on the Washerwoman.
The second day of climbing on Washerwoman was a lot easier. I was more in tune with the climbing and felt a little better about the rock and the gear. In climbing, the trust is a little more in your face than in other aspects. It really is. It comes down to 200 feet of 10mm cord, really. It's pretty real. You can feel someone else's weight. You can see the risk. it's pretty obvious, especially the higher you get while you're climbing. And so it's pretty important. It's life or death. Biggest problem is only having 3 liters of water to share with my climbing partner. So, you know, it's 1.5 liters we're up there for a couple hours. We're killing our water. We're just crushing it, but we can't help it. We tried to ration it, and at this point it's just, I'm getting headaches and you know, Christian's feeling it, I'm feeling it. It's making us tired and a little cranky. So what do you expect? It's over 100 degrees out here. Rationing a gallon of water would be fine if you were sitting stagnant. Maybe it would be enough water, but considering we're just moving nonstop for no less than 8 hours a day, it's just not enough water. Not for me, not for him. Tomorrow we're gonna get up early and pedal out to our next campsite on the reservations we have. And if Christian and I feel good, maybe we'll go climb Standing Rock tomorrow too. And chances are, if we climb Standing Rock tomorrow, as far as Christian and I are concerned, we're done. We'll probably just get on our bikes and head to the pavement. And I'm gonna be totally honest, man, I'm not enjoying the heat. It's intense.
I would just rather punish myself on the bike after a long day of climbing and just drink the rest of the water that we have and just get out of it.
I mean, honestly, you know? There's no way it's more miserable than this.
No.
And we're pacing. It's hot. Well, Christian's standing in place sweating.
I've urinated like 3 times in the last 3 days. We get blessed with some shade like we have the last couple of days. I think we can still get the 3 towers done and all the pedaling on our own.
I agree.
And which I'll feel good about that. We still don't know what we're gonna do, how we're gonna try to utilize the rest of our water the best.
This trailer's falling apart.
Maintenance.
We're trying to... The axle on this keeps bending. And now that we've had to bend it back, it's starting to get
Pretty weak.
And we've got one more good part after that. And that one's probably gonna go. I don't see it lasting much longer. But maybe not, maybe it'll surprise me.
There, on the last day of pedaling, it was looking pretty grim during our repairs. You know, we were in a good mood about it and joking about it, determined to keep trying.
Yeah. Here's where we're at.
It's the 7th plan.
That trailer's done, and we're at the Gooseberry Campground, which is where our next set of reservations are, which means Monument Basin's right around the corner. We're down to 4 gallons of water.
A little less, maybe.
A little less. I think that's where we're at. It'd be cool to go climb Standing Rock, but... Christian and I, you know, we saw the sign, 2.7, whatever, you know, more or less 3 miles. We
went about 20 yards past it and stopped and said, hey, you know, if we're actually gonna get out of this thing on our own without the truck, we need to, you know, go up this trail. Until we found that side trail and had the option to hike out on foot, I think, at least I had no faith that the equipment was gonna carry us.
We decided to carry all of our gear out, which I thought was a good idea and Christian thought was a good idea.
So we hiked out the gear and the trailers and the bikes.
About 30 minutes into the hike, I didn't think it was such a good idea. It was really hot.
We were guessing our packs were in 70s, maybe even creeping into 80s. They were definitely heavy, so that was pretty brutal. Wasn't glorious or the way we had planned to end the trip, but you know, it felt good just to make it happen, to get out of there on our own.
Good job, buddy.
Pat and I had to work together to make this trip happen in quite a few ways. The first one that comes to my mind is how he had to work with me, getting me up these towers. He took all the leads and took a big lead on just rope management, and just was the more knowledgeable, better climber. So he got me up these towers.
Pretty big adventure, especially considering mostly nothing went as planned. And it kind of makes me smile and like it even more. You know, you plan an adventure, everything goes as you plan. That's cool, you know, you got something to talk about when you plan an adventure and you're like, whoa, I didn't expect that. Well, I didn't expect that either. It's kind of exciting, it keeps you on your toes.